Hey guys, welcome back to our Django tutorial series. This is Siddharth. And in the last video, we explored the Django project structure. And in this video, we will first understand Django's architecture, which is called MVT, and then create our very first Django app. So let me give the image. So basically, Django follows the MVT architecture, which stands for model, view, and template. So let me explain with a simple example. So the model, this is called data layer. A model represents a database table. For example, if we're creating a blog, the post model could define fields like title, content, and the author. So let's talk about view. What is view? This is the business logic layer. View decide what data to fetch from the model, how to fetch from the model, and what response to return. For example, a view could fetch all the blog posts from the databases, or maybe it can filter throughout the authors of the blog and pass them to a template. And what is template? So this is the presentation layer. Templates are basically HTML files where we display the data from the view. For example, showing all the blog posts nicely formatted on a web page. So here in this image, you can see when user asks Django for some data, then Django hits the URL. Then the URL it's routed to the views, which is basically the functional layer or the business layer. The view interacts with model and asks for the data, and it extracts the data from the model, and then it shows the data in the templates, and the template from the view is again routed to the URL and it shows to the user. So this is basically the MVT structure, which is model view template structure. So whenever a user makes a request, Django uses the MVT flow to process the data and send back a response. So now let's go to our project. Inside our project, let's go to our test project. So let's create our first app called blog, and then we understand the architecture here. So Python manage.py start app blog. So here you can see there is a blog folder is already there, and you can see some basic files inside it. So let's discuss about these structures. So inside the blog, you can see the init.py, which makes it a Django model or Django package. Then the models.py. Inside the models.py, we define the database tables. Then the views.py, where we write the logic to handle the request. Then there is an admin.py to register the model for the Django admin panel. And then the apps.py, which is the configuration file for this app, and the migrations. So inside the migration, it keeps track of the database changes. So later we will create a urls.py and templates folder for the routing and HTML files. So finally, we need to register our app to the project. For that, we need to go to the settings.py. Inside the installed apps, let's add blog, and that's it. So now blog is the part of our installed apps, and Django knows about our new app. And this is part 4. We learned the Django MVT architecture, how it works, and created our first app called blog. In the next part, we will define our first model in the app and connect it to the database. See you in the part 5. Thank you.